IEM Katowice was a huge event. Not only did it break the viewership record for a non-major, we saw some classic performances from players who we really hadn't seen much from in quite a few months. Stavn was one such player. Over the course of the event, Stavn put up some incredible numbers and led Heroic to the playoffs, where they finally faltered against Karrigan's FaZe clan. Earlier in the event, Heroic took on Vitality. Mirage was a tough outing for Stavn, not really finding the impact he would have liked, but doing enough to get the team over the line. Then Inferno came around, and let's just say, Stavn caught fire. There is no doubt that even on a team like Heroic, Stavn stands atop the hierarchy of stars. He makes a lot of huge, round-winning plays, and it's not a coincidence. There are two main scenarios where he wins rounds. The first are rounds which aim to put Stavn into scenarios where he can playmake. The opening round of the entire map is a perfect example. Stavn and Tesses push aggressively into the apartments, crossing over the window and pushing down into second mid. Whilst it is commonplace for a player to swing across the window for information, it's not actually that common to see players then push off the back of it. Stavn swings into second mid, whilst Tesses holds the T house line. Then he just pops off. I can analyse the setup, I can talk about why it caught out the T side, why they maybe weren't ready for this, but you can't really analyse the shooting. It's just nutty. The second kind of rounds are when Stavn has a bit of a liberty to improvise, and to use his genius to just make things happen. This example I'm going to use is an early round on the CT side. Firstly, it's kind of funny to see the botched utility early. No matter how good the players get, this stuff continues to happen, and it makes me giggle every time. Cadian dies, so Stavn recovers the AWP and has to hold down the fort solo. As the execute comes through, he pushes ahead of the coffin smoke, picking off one, then retreating back behind that smoke to preserve his life and maintain the numbers. The T's try to spam him down, so of course he no-scopes at them through a smoke, and well, one of them has to land because when you're that kind of player, things just work out for you. Finally, Stavn has a great read on the smoke fade timing. He's able to push through it, catch the bomb planter, and then also finish off the final player in Banana, who is caught completely unawares. All of this chaos, and yet Stavn stays well aware of the timings, well aware of when he can make the play, and of course, makes it to perfection. The liberty to playmake also manifests itself on the T side. Stavn gets the freedom to push repeatedly into church on B takes, and this is kind of for two reasons. Firstly, he's likely to win the fight, but secondly, he's almost definitely, no matter what, going to take space, and the CTs are more likely to save if they're being challenged just to get church control, let alone the rest of the bomb site, and if they're losing men in the process, I mean, before they even attempt this take, they're going to call a save. It's Inferno, it happens all the time, and that's a round-winning play that he makes time and time again. On both sides of the map, Stavn holds a great deal of responsibility around B. For now, let's focus on the T side. Here's the general process by which Stavn acquires banana information and control during just a typical round. Firstly, a Molotov, thrown between what used to be a car and sandbags to deny the CT cross. A little later into the round, he'll often jump spot over the broken wall, a move that he picks up info off of, but also sometimes takes bullets for, so it's got some pros and cons. Often he'll then get boosted to check over the half wall, just to make sure there's no one playing at the corner. Finally, when the B execute happens, Stavn follows a very set path into the B site. He is responsible for pushing into water, taking the aggro from potential orange players, as well as any players playing an off angle at the back of the new boxes, or one of the pillars. He does this time and time again, this little entry pathing, and the fact that he's able to find frags whilst doing it, which is quite a difficult thing to do, adds immense value. Now, Stavn wouldn't be such a huge impact player if it wasn't for opening kills, and the opening kills he finds, he does it by throwing wrinkles into his banana default. In this example, he doesn't make all that noise, make all that presence known in banana. Instead, he and Cadian go for a bit of a contact play, allowing Stavn to pick off Masuta, who comes creeping forward. He's not hearing anything, he wants to clear banana because if he finds it empty, you can rotate an extra man over to A, get that rotate in early, and completely shut down the A push. Instead, he gets killed. Another one of these wrinkles came in overtime, with Heroic down 16-15. The molly goes in as per usual, but then Stavn, if you noticed, usually would play around logs in these rounds. Instead, he actually creeps up to the broken wall. Zywoo tries to peek into that logs position, knowing that Stavn likes to play there, likely having spotted the tendency as well, and he wants to pick him off or pick off anyone else who might be towards the bottom banana after he's cleared that spot. The plan is then to retreat behind the top banana smoke that's been thrown by a CT. It's a very cute timing, I really like this idea. Unfortunately, Stavn is not where he's supposed to be. He's up at the broken wall and just absolutely rips Zywoo's head off. Finally, I wanted to touch on banana utility. Now, this is a topic that has been done to death by literally fucking everyone. So I'll keep it brief and focus on some of the stuff I saw that I think has gone underexplored or that can add a little nuance to the topic. First off, this little jump spot into banana, followed by this very purposeful nade into the other cubby, not logs, is indicative of how, or reflective, I think, of how Stavn uses HGs in general on Inferno. He topped the team with 16 utility ADR, which is pretty good, and this is a great example of why. Rather than just chucking the nade logs like a lot of players tend to do, it makes more sense to confirm where that logs player is actually playing from before he throws the nade. He spots the player retreating from logs and realizes he's probably going to go to the other cubby if he's going to be a banana player. So he lines up his HE like this, and it bounces into that corner and hits Magus for 45 damage. Another great example of this purposeful HE usage is actually in the T side, where a molly to top banana triggers a smoke from the defending CT, which is then what triggers him to throw a HE, which is another massive chunk of damage. Something that doesn't get talked about enough is the impact of a well-timed flashbang in banana. This heavy banana take wouldn't be as impactful if it wasn't for the flashbang that Tessis throws. It pops just in time to discombobulate the logs player, in this case Zywoo, who barely has time to figure out he has to put out a Molotov before the nades start hitting him. Stavn's molly and nade get the damage, but the flashbang thrown by Tessis was the real MVP in this case. Alright, thank you for watching. I'm so sorry this came out so late. I've been, well, busy and kind of distracted. Sub for more, leave a like, tell me in your comments what you think about Stavn. I'm likely going to put out a poll for next week's. It's probably going to have something to do with phase, for obvious reasons. But yeah, I appreciate you taking the time. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.